Hello again. In this video we will look at creating a new console application and configuring your Visual Studio Code working environment for C#. If you have not already installed .NET Core and Visual Studio Code, please pause this video and do so now. The first thing we should do is create a new folder on our desktop or wherever you like, doesn't really matter where you put it, and name it .NET Examples. Inside of that folder, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call that Intro to Console. This folder is going to contain all of our projects that we do over the course of these videos. Now I'm going to right-click inside of this folder and select Open in Terminal. And you'll see it's opened this folder in a new terminal. You can actually do the same thing in Windows. Now that I've switched to Windows, you can go to your folder in Windows and up here in File and open in Windows PowerShell and then open in Windows PowerShell. This will open your folder in a new PowerShell window. Alternatively, if we go up one level, I can hold Shift and right-click on the folder and go to Open PowerShell window here. And that will open that folder in a new PowerShell window. Using the terminal or shell, there are a number of commands we can pass to .NET, and we call .NET by typing .NET. Typing .NET will give us a small list of options we may possibly want to execute. And you'll notice one of them is help. So if you ever want a more comprehensive list of which commands that can be passed to .NET, type .NET --help. And this will give us a more comprehensive list. We'll notice that up here there is a new command, and it says create a new .NET project or file. So let's type .NET new, and then let's pass that help command to it again. .NET new --help. And you'll notice we have a few things here. Let's go ahead and expand our terminal window out so it's formatted a little bit better. And you'll notice right here in the templates at the top is console application. Short name, console. Language, C#, F#, Visual Basic. So let's go ahead and type .NET new console and hit enter. If we come back to our folder, we'll notice that it's given us several things. We have a intro to console.csproj file, an obj folder, and a program.cs file. Now we need to open our project in Visual Studio Code. If you opted to add Visual Studio Code to your path while installing it, which is the default, you can just type code into the terminal. Otherwise, you can go to your applications, look for code, and type on Visual Studio Code. From here, we'll go to File, Open Folder, navigate to your folder, and select your Intro to Console folder. If we click on the program.cs file here in the File Explorer, we'll notice at the bottom right it says the C# extension is recommended for this file type with install and show recommendations. We just want to click install. You'll see we get an output window telling us when it's done. This might take a little bit of time. Just give it a few minutes. There we go. Now it's finished. Down at the bottom right now, we see it says required assets to build and debug are missing from intro to console. Add them. And we want to select yes. Now, if we were to come to our debug window, you'll see it says .NET Core Launch, and debug it by hitting the green play button here, you'll notice it doesn't actually open a new console or terminal window. Instead, we get the output of our program. Sorry, my cat. You'll notice we get the output of our program in the debug console window. I personally don't like that very much. I would like the output of my console application to open in a new terminal window. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, find the console setting, and change its value from internal console to external terminal, and hit Control S on my keyboard to save it. Now, when I hit the debug button, you'll see I get Hello World. Press that A key to continue. There is a distinction that needs to be made here between Linux and Windows. If I set my console window to open in an external terminal, and I hit the debug button, you'll see that even though I get some debug console output here, nothing really seemed to have happened. You may have seen on your screen the console window come up really briefly and then go away. That's because in Windows, console applications have a habit of just exiting when they're done. So in order to prevent that from happening, we actually need to write an extra line of code. And that extra line right after console.writeLine hello world is console.read key. And this will force the console to wait for user input, essentially any key press, before exiting the program. So now, if I debug the program, I have a console window which will not exit until I hit, say, the spacebar. And now it's gone. From here, we can go ahead and go back to our program.cs. That was quite a bit to absorb in a short period of time, so let's end this video by talking about some of the various ways we can output text to the screen using console.write and console.writeLine. Console.write will write text to the screen but won't go on to a new line. So we can type something like console.write hello. And let's go ahead and just copy that line a few times. Remember that as we're writing C#, we have to end our statements with semicolons. That is a requirement of the language. Now if we come back to our debug area and hit the debug button, you'll see that all of those hello statements are on a single line. So what will happen if we put another console.writeLine underneath that? And we'll just copy that hello world. You might assume that this will go onto a new line underneath all of those console.writes. Let's see what happens. It does not. This is happening because the console.writeLine command is actually appending a new line character to the end of the output and not prepending it. We can force our hello world right there at the bottom to go onto a new line by giving it that new line character, which is \n. Now, if we debug, we will see that it goes on to a new line. There are a number of ways that we can output text using console.write and console.writeLine. Let's get rid of our current console.writeLine and console.write calls and instead declare a new variable, and that variable is going to be of type string. The string variable is for multiple characters, a string of characters, if you will. And I'm going to call this first one first name, and it is going to equal my first name. Under that, I'm going to make a new string variable, and I'm going to call it last name. And I'm going to give it my last name. From here, I can output this in a couple ways. Let's experiment. So I'm going to console.write hello. My name is, the space here at the end, that's a little important. And then I'm going to say plus first name plus an empty space plus last name. Let's see what we get. Let's go ahead and debug this. It says, hello, my name is Nathan Reed. Well, that's kind of cool. That seems sort of long, though. What's a better way to do this? Well, as it happens, you can actually format these. So let's get rid of this. And inside of this, I'm going to say, hello. My name is, and then curly braces, 0, space, curly braces, 1. Outside of the quotes, but still inside the parentheses, I'm going to put comma, first name, comma, last name. What I've done is put these little placeholders here, and these are going to be the parameters of my string, and it is a 0-based index. So 0 corresponds to first name, 1 corresponds to last name. Let's debug and see what we get. Lo and behold, that's the exact same thing. Hello, my name is Nathan Reed. That's kind of cool, but you know, maybe this doesn't make the most sense to you, this curly brace 0, curly brace 1, so there is yet another kind of newer way to do this. So let's erase all of that again. Put our quotes. But now we are going to, inside the parentheses, but before the quotes, put a $sign. And what this will allow us to do is actually call our variables directly in this string. So I'm going to say, hello. My name is curly braces, first name. And you'll notice the color changes. However, I've also lost access to IntelliSense. It won't help me autocomplete this line. So I have to make sure I type that variable correctly. Then a space, curly braces, last name. And there you go. Congratulations! You have written your first console application. In the next video, we'll talk a little bit about data types and user input. Thank you for joining me, and I hope I see you in the next video.